Hey people, I got a really good show for you here. So I found this in Corinthians, and it's talking about an excess of the apocalypse, the revelations. And it says the Sarky angel Satan. And so Sarky means the chief, the boss, so Sharky. And this word agalos here, this is angel every time it comes up in the Bible. They say this means angel. Angel. Every time it means angel. And so they're totally trying to cover up that this says the chief angel, Satan. The Sarky, the chief angel, Satan. It doesn't say of in there. It says the chief angel, Satan. And he should buffet me. Oh, he's going to eat you. So, they use this word apocalypse in the Old Testament when he's out there in the desert and he's telling them to don't peek under the burqa of your mama or your sister. And this word is a sex come a soon on. A sex coming soon on. Sounds like don't peek under the burqa when they're too young. And this word offs here, this is the word they use for created in Genesis. And it means author, it means to write about. And I dispute this word they say means thou shalt not. I'm pretty sure nay is the word for not. They got those reversed. But yeah, they say here this apocalypse means uncover. And it's the exact same word here on the top of Revelations. And they call it the revelation. In the Old Testament they call it the uncovered. But, it's the apocalypse. And so, I ran into this in Revelations 4, I think it was. I did a movie yesterday. And I seen that I was getting so good at this Greek, I thought I'd come back and start reading it from the beginning. And when I got here, oppo, they always say it's from, but it's where your word opposing come from. And a better word is away. And so I started reading this as a way, call up sis. Awake up, awake call up sis. And it's an awakened, awake call. The revelation is apo, awake call ups is. Awake call ups is. And this is a big wake up. And so I looked at it, and it's spelled several different ways here. But it's in the first word in Revelations, and that tells me that, hey, that's the title of the book. But when you see it in all these other writings, it's back in there. And sometimes it's spelled the same, and sometimes it's spelled a little different. But the awake call ups C is pretty close. The awake call up C. And so that tells me that all these books that have this word in it, they understood what an apocalypse was. Here's a awakes call up sin. And here's an awakes call ups those. And so, awake call, on the boat, you get a wake call. You send you put it up there with the bowsprit of the watch. So in the middle of the night comes your watch. They know that, hey, I'm a hard sleeper. You better wake me up. I might even need an extra 30 minutes because I got to do my hair and shoes, a wake call. But it's found throughout here, and like I said, it's spelled these couple different ways. The call ups in, the call ups these, call ups this, the call up C, the call ups in. And I saw something in it, and it sent me over here to read this 2 Corinthians 12:7. And so I looked at it here, and I seen it had a period here, and so the red is they added it because it wasn't there, and so they kind of got this line divided in the wrong place. So after this period, after this apocalypse on, it's the Diana, the Diana. And so I looked at it here with the whole chapter, and they totally changed this word. They took the dio out of it. And so I looked at it in this Borean Bible, and the dio's back, and it starts a new chapter. And so there's no way, that this sentence could be put in this sentence. And so they're definitely trying to twist this around, because they've got this sentence. You see how they numbered this, where they want you to read and then they want you to come to another paragraph and read this, so that I should not be elevated, and then come back and read the paragraph above. So it's easy to tell they're trying to hide something here over the excess of the revelations. So there's a whole bunch of words that's easy to read here, and they totally understood today, and it's right in our faces, and they're not trying to hide anything. It's just everybody's asleep, nobody's looking. So if we read it like this, that paragraph ended, and to which the upper bowl tone, the awake call up, see on, and this on, this is the end cycle, and so that's the apocalypse, and it says a whole lot here, this psi here, the upsion of the end cycle, that looks like the symbol of Ketu, of the devil's tail, and that would be the Ketu would be in August. It would be an eclipse in August, and you can see the away from, and the calypse in there. The calypse of the end cycle. But yeah, here they totally took that first word out. But this Diana, that's 1/3 of the moon. She's goddess of the hunt, wild animals, and fertility of the moon. And Diana has been considered a triple deity, merged with the goddess of the moon, Luna, and Selene. And the underworld, usually Hecate. She's a three-faced god too. So Diana probably derives from Latin dies, godly. Ultimately Proto-Italic divos, divine, heavenly. Or the ancient Greek dios, belonging to heaven, godlike. Ancient Latin writers considered the etymology of Diana as allied to that of days and connected to the shine of the moon, noting that one of her titles is Diana, Lucifer, the light bearer. So this part here, just know that it's part of the paragraph above. It's not talking about this sentence. But it says, this vav, W, means and to, or W, and this could be with, WTH. But this could also just be and the. And then the hyperbola, or hyperbole. Hyperbole is plainly, it's a Greek word, hyperbole, and it means exaggerated statements or claims not meant to be taken literally. Hyperbole, exaggerated statements or claims not meant to be taken literally. And so, and the hyperbole tone the apocalypse on. Boom, there goes the apocalypse. So that's where your word hype come from. This word comes up 2 more times down here. the hyper, and it seems to mean to appear. Appear, and appear is a better word for it, and it's to open the first. U, to, P, open, E, the, R, first. To open the first, when it first appeared. Appear, bowl, tone, the tone, the shade, the color. And so the hyperbole, the exaggerated tone, awake call ups these on. Before an eclipse comes, there's usually an eclipse of the moon comes first, and the moon will turn red, and it lets you know that the sun and the moon are in a line, and it's possible that you'll have a full eclipse in the next 14 days when the moon gets back on the other side, because when it's away of the eclipse on, oppo is opposing. When the sun and the moon are opposing in your astrology, they're on opposite sides of the planet. So that would be a eclipse of a full moon. And so it just turns red. Even when it's not full eclipse, when it gets in the shadow of the earth, it turns red. The exaggerated bowl. And then the call, and then the up sigh. The sigh is the devil's tail, or the dragon's tail. And that's the symbol for Ketu. And Rahu is at Easter, and when the sun's coming up, and then when it's going down, and the moon crosses the sun's path, that's Ketu, and that's when you have your eclipses. And so when you have a lunar eclipse, that means that the moon is opposing the sun in your astrology chart. It's just casting a shadow, and it turns red. And so when it talks about Diana, Diana is the days here. We're going to see this later on in this line here. The light of the moon is pointing, it's telling off where the sun is, and it's in the word. And the word that it's in will blow your mind. And so now that just reads, in the hyperbole tone, opposing calypson. And so the next chapter, Dio in name, INAMH. And so, that was known as Diana from divide. And so Diana was a word for the names of the moon, or it could read the heavenly in name. And so that's where your word name come from, and is in the dial in the name. And they have all those tetragrammatons and all those name devices, many different ones. That's what it's talking about. To dial in the name, the heavenly in name. It's the heavenly in powers from the divide. And so it's talking about your lunar cycles. These are all names of Diana, the heavenly name of the hyper-aramaya. And so this is to appear, and then the aramaya, the hyper, and I should become conceited. Oh, what that means is to appear in Aramaya. Aramaic is the ancient language of the Franks. You see here Greek Aramaeus. Aramaic, Americans added this IK on it. But it's a Semitic language, Syrian dialect of which was used as the language of France, the Near East from the 6th century BC. gradually replaced Hebrew as the language of the Jewish people. In those areas, it was itself supplanted by Arabic in the 7th century AD. So Aramaic isn't Jewish. Aramaic is Frankish. And so to the heavenly in name to appear in Aramaic. And so the Aramaic, the ancient Aramaic looked like this. And it's because they were tracing designs of the stars that would appear Aramaic in the heavens. That they were all the letters in the alphabet come from the stars, from the patterns of the stars in the heaven. And this was the original old Aramaic. The heavenly in name appear Aramaic. Edit them how scallops the chief, the Sarki angels, Satana. Edit them how, from how, OI is how things get done, to see make is how they get done. And the edit, editor, the edit them how scallops the chief angels, Santana. It's editing. This is the paths, and it's a scallop. The path of the sun and the moon is similar, but it has more. It has more waves, and it's a scallop. And it goes through and it edits the chief angels. The line of the sun is editing through the 12 signs. It goes up and down across the equator, following this scallop. To edit, was given. No, the ones that were edited out from the scallops, you see, is a thorn. And I think they're trying to say torn. It's not a straight edge, it's a scalloped edge of the chief angels. And so angels, it's not really angels. It's the agile, Aggel, the agile. The agile is messengers. A messenger. He's agile, he's quick, he's not a good fighter, he can run fast, and he makes a good messenger, agile. But that's where they get the word angels from. And so to edit them how scallops this chief, the Sarki angel, Santana, the chief angel, Santana. So this hyper arrow may is also to the hyper arrow may edit. It's the hyper arrow that may edit. The hyper arrow that edits out the scallop of chief angels, Satan. In name qualifies. In name, hyper arrow may. And so, this in name is spelled two different ways. It's spelled with an H here. And the Latin and Greek, they just turn the H into an E anyway. But it means two different things, it's in the name to qualifies. And so this is a play on of word, to cull something out. So what it's doing is culling out, it's selecting certain sets of stars, to qualify, to be entitled, to have a particular benefit or a privilege. It's qualifying. Qualify, qualifies, and in name. And so this is in name divide. In name life, in the name of the life to qualifies, in the name divide, the hyper arome. So I'm going to put all this together one more time. And the hyperbole, the exaggerated tone of the apocalypse on, the wake of call, the lips on, the the godly in name, the hyper aromay. Edit them how scallops, the saki, the sharky, the chief angels of Satana. In name, the qualifies in name, the hyper aromay. What it's saying here is, the chief angels of Satanus. So Satan here means all of the angels. They're all angels of Satan. And you're picking them out and by name. I think all that work on the Hebrew has really improved my Greek game. But yeah, the ancient people that wrote the Hebrew and the Greek, their main language was English. They borrowed words from other languages, and our English isn't the same as theirs. The ancient English included all of this Latin. All of this Greek was all part of ancient English language, and they've erased it from our language. All right, I'm going to cut this off here. Good day.